We're gonna move on to our last song of the night. And this one, I think you'll agree, is a classic, worthy of praise, worthy of
Okay.
analysis. We have White Iverson by Post Malone.
Okay. This is
And
a great song.
this
Great
is,
song.
I mean, I know that like you and me, we have a lot of experience with this
Love this
song.
song.
We
Hmm.
yeah, we
Hmm.
love this one.
Yep.
There's so much to unpack here, and I'm really excited to get into this one. So
Yeah,
right
I
off the
love this
bat,
song.
if you want to just like if you want to just read off the first couple lyrics here,
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So first of all, double OT, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a new three.
Mm-hmm.
Saucin'. I'm saucing on you.
Uh-huh.
I'm swagging. Oh ooh. I'm ballin'. Iverson on you.
Wow. There's a lot
I mean,
already.
yeah.
There's a
Already
lot to
there's a
unpack here.
lot to process. A
Wow.
lot. There
So
he has introduced so many subjects to just dissect, and
yeah.
you are given such little time, but that's kind of like that's kind of like I almost wonder if that's the point. Like
Mm-hmm.
there are so many aspects in the world that you can't dissect all of them. You have to pick and choose what matters to you, and you have to kind of just deal with it. That's just life.
Yeah. No, I
Hmm.
agree. And I mean, like, the fact that he's already establishing right off the bat, he's
Hmm.
saucing on you,
Hmm.
swagging. Oh,
Uh,
ooh, balling,
hmm.
Iverson on you. Like, all three, like,
Hmm.
I don't know if he's
Hmm.
trying to say, like, he's doing them one at a time, like in this sort of sequence, or if he's trying to establish, like, no, I'm doing this concurrently, like all three of these concurrently.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, I think he is concurrently doing it because, I mean, wouldn't, well, yeah, no, I think he is doing them concurrently because I feel like maybe the verb tenses of I would change if he was doing them at different times.
yeah, and I mean, I guess like he could have said something along the lines of like I sauced and then I swagged
Hmm.
and then I balled, but
Hmm.
he didn't do that.
Yeah.
He
Or I will ball, you
or
know
I
what I
will
mean? Yeah.
ball. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
like it could have
Hmm.
there could have been more of an established sort of like progression with it, but he is
Hmm.
just like no, I am doing these things right now, and
Hmm.
so that
And then he even draws into attention with the next line, watch out, watch
watch it.
out, watch
Yeah.
out. Yeah, because he's telling us that we need to really just watch for this these aspects and these things that are being introduced to us, even though our minds might not be able to process them all.
Hmm.
We just really have to take what we're given and sort of accept it because it is simply just what we're given at the time. And our minds, if we spend so much time trying to process one thing at a time and really dissect one thing, we won't be able to go through life as well. But we just have to kind of just really take what we need and just move on.
I think
And
he
I
yeah.
think that's what he's telling us right there.
I think he's just trying to make sure like we kind of ground ourselves here, you know what I mean? And I think that that's really great. I don't think enough artists kind of like allow for that, for you to just kind of be like, "Whoa, I know I'm presenting a lot of information to you right now, but you
Mm-hmm.
need to watch out," you
Mm-hmm.
know? And I really
Yeah.
appreciate that. And then he's
Mm-hmm.
establishes like that's my shot. That's my shot. He's kind of like establishing like, yeah, this is my shot at trying to make sure you ground yourself. And he's like really like he's kind of pulling us back to earth, and I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then he kind of establishes like, yeah, he's spending, and then and then after that he introduces a fourth thing that he's currently
Mm-hmm.
doing, spending
And I think
spending all his fucking pay.
and I think this is a very important uh, thing to discuss is that I think he's trying to deliver this message, this White Iverson, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
but at the cost of all of his fucking pay. He is willing to spend all of his fucking pay to deliver White Iverson to us,
Yeah,
and we should be really grateful for that.
we
That
should.
he is willing to basically throw it all away. Who knows if he's even able to recover from
Mm-hmm.
after spending all his fucking pay to give us White Iverson and tell us all these aspects of life and what we should do.
No, I
You know what I
agree.
mean?
Well, and I think we can. I think that's a good point to make here because going later into the song, he says here, "I ain't rich yet, but I know I ain't broke." So he's already
Mm-hmm.
kind of trying to establish, or he's like, further establishing with us, like he's not rich.
Mm-hmm.
He's spending all of his fucking pay, but he has some pay to spend. He's not broke,
Mm-hmm.
but you
Sure.
know, he's no
Well,
Jeff Bezos.
regardless of his pay, he's spending all of it.
Yeah, all of
You
it,
know,
not some of
Mhm.
it, all of it, all his fucking
all of
pay.
it. And I
Right.
think that really needs to be brought to attention is all of it. He says
Mm-hmm.
all,
Yeah.
not 99%, all. So that means he's back to ground zero. He's
Yeah.
back to square one.
Uh huh. And but that's the great thing is like he's
Hmm.
White Iverson.
Yeah.
He's balling. Like he even says here, White Iverson. When I started balling, I was young. So he started balling when he was young, but he's still
Hmm.
concurrently balling,
Hmm.
right? And then kind of reestablishing the fact that he needs that money, like the ring that he never won, right? Like kind of
Hmm.
reestablishing, like yeah, like I'm not rich. I need that money. But I just spent all my fucking pay, right?
Hmm. And something that's really
Theming.
amazing is that earlier he does talk about he's swagging, he's balling, he's saucing, but then he really, these aspects that we just have to take for face value because if we spend so much time dissecting them all, we don't, we might end up getting screwed over and we won't know what to do. But then later in the song, he brings into tension one specific one because he wants to help us realize that sure, maybe we won't be able to dissect all of them, but at least we can dissect what's important. And I think what was really important to him was that he was balling when he was young, you
I
know.
agree. For sure.
Hmm.
And and I think that like later on we can see he like he reestablishes that.
Hmm.
But again, right after he says that, he's like, when I started balling, I was young, and then he reestablishes like saucin', saucin', saucin',
Hmm.
swaggin', 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 ballin', ballin'.
Hmm.
It's just reiterated,
Yeah.
because I think that's like a really big point that he's trying to make here. And let's see what else we got. He goes into he talks about like cigarettes in a headband, commas,
Yep.
commas in my head, man, slumped over like a dead man. We got like this sort of like tail end rhyming scheme, you know, and maybe like this is kind of like kind of like the thoughts that are like going through his head after like after all this bawling and spending and swagging and saucing that he's doing. You know what I mean? He's slumped over from all that. It's a lot. It's tiring,
Yeah, I
right?
think this is another scene where the artist decides to get vulnerable with us a bit against a potential nicotine addiction, and
For sure.
he's telling us his struggles with that, and he's slumped over like a dead man, and he doesn't know what to do now. Not only does he have a nicotine addiction, but he's spending all of his fucking pay,
Yeah.
and honestly, this almost seems like a ballad more than a rap song, if you ask me, a
Yeah.
tragedy, if you will.
Yeah. For sure, yeah. Like we're kind of almost it's like we're given like a really like deep dive into Post Malone's sort of like inner struggles or White
Hmm.
Iverson, whatever you prefer. But I think maybe like we like after we get into this sort of like stanza of like his internal struggles, we get into like he's like, bitch, I'm saucing. I do this often. So there, maybe there's some like trying to reestablish like, yeah, no, I've been struggling, but I'm still balling or I'm saucing,
Hmm.
you know.
Hmm.
And then he says, I'm balling, money jumping. So like things are maybe looking up here, right? And I think that's
And I
important.
hope they are. I hope they are.
Yeah, me too. No.
Mhm.
Well, and then like we get some more. He kind of like maybe like inner contemplation, and then we get back to White Iverson. When I saw her balling, he was young, and then we get maybe like this sort of like happy ending, where he's
Mhm.
swagging, and he's swagging, he's balling, he's spending all his fucking pay, and so
Mhm.
maybe like he's trying to like hammer home like, yeah, I was struggling, but
Mhm.
like look at me now, like, or like throughout the song maybe like there was some growth, and then
Yeah.
he he gets his money, but something that I'm realizing is that he ends the song by saying he's spending all his fucking pay. So maybe like he got more money and then he spent it all, and then it's almost like that's where we end off and we don't know where it's gonna go.
And what I think is really amazing, and sure, there was all these things that happened throughout his life, and all these things about him, his personal growth, and all the things that may be relatable, and him getting vulnerable about all the horrible things that he had to deal with. But at the end of the day, he sticks to his core essentials. He sauces, he swags, and he balls.
Yeah,
Like that is mad props that no matter what happens to him in his life, he still sticks to his core essentials. And that happens throughout the song that no
that's
matter what happens to this guy, he sticks to his philosophies, his ideals, his beliefs. He never changes because he knows that at the end of the day, that is him. It doesn't matter how
that's
much
so
money he
true.
has. In fact, when he gets his money back, he goes back to spending all his fucking pay because
Yeah,
he knows that no matter how much money he has, he can still stick to his core beliefs, essentials, and just overall character. Like
Wow.
it's great.
It
It's really
is.
great.
It's inspiring. You know,
Hmm.
I think we all have a little something to learn from Post Malone, from White Iverson by Post Malone. You know, like
Hmm.
we got to stick to our core values. You know, whether they might be different or similar, or maybe they also are for you and me, like swagging, saucing, swagging, and balling. Right.
Hmm.
Whatever they are, you got to stick to them and you got to see them
Yeah,
through. I think
you
that's
really
really
should.
important. Hmm.
Overall, I think this is probably one of the best songs that exists right now.
Oh yeah, of all
It's
time.
yeah. Mm,
I think the history of music kind of went like, you know, like we were getting close, and then like when this dropped, it was
yeah,
like we reached like pretty much a peak, and then now
yeah.
we're kind of like, you know, we're kind of going down a little bit. I mean, we get some peaks here and there when we get songs like Savage and I Love It, you know what I mean? But
Yeah, okay.
I don't think that they even really hold a candle to White Iverson in a
No,
sense, you
they
know.
don't. I think that was peak, and
Hmm.
honestly, it sickens me that no matter where we go, it just won't reach the same as White Iverson.
It's going
Like
to be an
this
uphill
song,
battle. It's an uphill battle
mhm,
for sure, but I think I
yeah.
have optimism that one day we can maybe get close to reaching this level of greatness, you know.
I just can't see it. I really wish I could, but I just can't see it.
I mean, you know
It's
what? That's, you know, like we all have different takes, and that's
mhm,
okay. But I think there's one thing that we need to all remember here, and that's we got to stick to our three core values:
mhm,
saucin', swaggin', and ballin'.
mhm.
And I think if there's anything you want to take away from this little exercise today, I think that's what it's got to be.